1st of September 2011, and this is the first night we are talking on the Theragatha. This Theragatha is the Gatha of the Theras. Gatha means verses. Theras are the elder monks, here referring to the Arahant monks. And this is the 8th book of the Khuddaka Nikaya. These gathas or verses, there are 1,279 of them, and these verses are very inspiring. And from listening to these verses, you can see how much effort these Arahants use to attain enlightenment. It was not an easy path. For a person to become liberated is extremely difficult. Mara is very strong. Now we start with the first verse, number 1. This is by Subhuti. My small hut is roofed, pleasant, draft-free, rain, sky, as you please. My mind is well concentrated, released. I remain zealous or diligent, rain, sky. So, you see, they stay in the forest. They also have a hut, because a hut like our kuti is very convenient for cultivation. A lot of people, they stay in the kuti. They are not content. They still want to go out to practice. If suppose I let you practice under the tree, I don't give you the kuti, then you'll be longing for a kuti. Number 2, Khuddaka. Calm, quiet, speaking in moderation, not conceited. He shakes off evil characteristics as the wind shakes off the leaves of a tree. You've got to have an extremely strong mind to do that. Number 3, Kanka Revata. Revata, the doubter. See this wisdom of the Tathagatas, who, giving light and vision, like a fire blazing in the night, dispel the doubt of those who come. Number 4, by Puna Mantani Putta. There's one sutta where the Buddha asks a monk, I don't know whether it's Ananda, the Buddha asks, who among my Sakyan relatives is a good Dhamma teacher? And they told him the best Sakyan Dhamma teacher is Puna Mantani Putta. I think in Mahayana they have this name also. They call him Fulo no Mantalo Nietzsche. One should associate only with the good, the clever, those who see the goal. Wise, vigilant and discerning, they attain to the goal which is great, profound, hard to see, subtle, fine. They always, these holy men always say, our company, our friends are very important. You associate with the good, you also become a good. You associate with the bad, you also become the bad. It's what nowadays we call peer pressure. Number 5 is Dabba. He who was hard to tame is tamed by self-taming. He is worthy, Dabba, contented, with doubts overcome, victorious, with fears truly gone. That Dabba is quenched with steadfast self. This could be Dabba the Malian. He has such great, I think he's the one with such great psychic power, and he was appointed by the Sangha to be in charge of kutis. So anytime the monks come, he has to decide which kuti they go. And during the Buddha's time, the monastery was very big, maybe a few hundreds of acres. So he tell one of them, say, well, sometimes the monk comes at night. You have to show them to the kuti, which is the other side of the hill. So he's in meditation, and then they come, and then probably he will ask them to wait a while, and then he enters samadhi, and then he used the samadhi to light up his finger, and then he used his finger like a torchlight. He bring them by the light of his finger. across the hill to the kuti. So when the news spread that he has this kind of psychic power, the monks purposely come at night to see. Number 6, Sittavanya. The monk who went to Sittavana is alone, contented, with concentrated self, victorious, with excitement gone, guarding the mindfulness concerned with the body, possessed of resolution. These arahants, they always stay alone to attain liberation. Number 7, Balaya. He who has thrust away the army of King Death, as a great flood pushes back a very weak bridge of reeds, is victorious, with fears truly gone, tamed, quenched, with steadfast self. Number 8, Vihara. He who was hard to tame is tamed by self-taming. He is a hero, Vihara, contented, with doubts overcome, victorious, with excitement truly gone, that Vihara is quenched with steadfast self. Pilindavacha. Pilindavacha, I think, may be the Arahant who calls the other monks Parya. Number 9. It has come, it has not departed, nor was that bad advice to me. Among the things shared out among men, I obtained the best advice, taught the Dhamma. I think we came across that sutta where Pilindavacha was calling all the monks Parya, and when they complained to the Buddha contemplated the past and said for 500 lifetimes he was born as a Brahmin. So Brahmins, they're very proud of their caste and look down on all other castes. That's why I call other people Parya. Something like that. I may not be the exact word Parya, but this is what we use. Number 10, Punamasa. Whoever, having attained to knowledge, being quiet, with self-restraint, destroys longing for this world or the next. He, not clinging to all phenomena, would know the arising and passing away of the world. This world or the next refers to this life or the next life. Number 11, Chula Gavacha. A monk who has much joy in the Dhamma taught by the Buddha would attain to the peaceful state, the happy calming of the constituent elements. Mahagavacha, number 12. Having strength through wisdom, possessed of vows, vata, and virtuous conduct, sila, concentrated, delighting in meditation, possessed of mindfulness, eating whatever food is proper, one should await one's time here, with desire gone. So when they have finished their work, they just wait for the time to enter Nibbana, and to them, entering Nibbana is like the salary they get for all their work, reaping the reward. Number 13, Vana Vacha. Those rocks delight me, the color of the blue clouds, beautiful, with cool waters and pure streams, covered with Indagopaka insects. So this monk must be living up in the hills. There's water flowing and rocks, and can see the clouds. And all that. Number 14, Vanavacha's pupil. My preceptor said to me, let us go from here, Sivaka. My body dwells in the village. My mind has gone to the forest. Even though I am lying down, I shall go there. There is no attachment for those who know. So maybe even though he has to go to the village, but his mind is not attached to the village. Number 15, Kunda Dana. One should cut off 5, one should abandon 5, one should especially develop 5. A monk who has gone beyond the 5 attachments is called a flood crosser. I think we came across something like this 1 or 2 nights ago. Cut off 5 means cut off the 5 lower fetters, and then abandon 5 is the 5 higher fetters, and develop 5, develop the 5 faculties. And the 5 attachments should refer to the 5 aggregates. Number 16, Balata Sisa. Just as a noble thoroughbred with swishing tail and mane goes with little difficulty, so for me the days and nights go with little difficulty when spiritual happiness has been obtained. When we are happy, the time seems to go by very fast. When we are not happy, the days and nights go by very slowly. And then at night, if you are unhappy and you can't sleep, it's quite a torture. Number 17, Dasaka. When he is lazy and a glutton, a sleeper who rolls as he lies, like a great hog or pig fed on grain. The food comes to the womb again and again. So to the Arahants, a person who likes to sleep is a fool, wasting the time. Number 18, Singala Pitta. There was a monk, an heir of the Buddha, in the Besakala forest. He suffused this whole earth with the contemplation of the skeleton notion. Very quickly, I think he will get rid of desire for sensual pleasures. So this monk is practicing contemplation of the skeleton. If he continues, then he will get rid of sensual desire. Kula, number 19. Truly, canal makers lead water, arrow makers bend the bow, carpenters bend wood, men of good vows tame the self. 20. Ajita. I have no fear of death, I have no longing for life. Attentive and mindful, I shall abandon the body. He's finished his work, waiting for the time. 21. Nigroda. I am not afraid of fear. Our teacher is well skilled in the undying, or in the deathless. Where fear does not remain, there by the eightfold path the monks go. Our teacher must be the Buddha. 22. Chittaka. Blue with beautiful necks, the crested peacocks call in Karamvi. Urged on by the cool breeze, they awaken the sleeper to meditation. This one, Arahants, although Arahants sleep, they don't sleep like ordinary people. Arahants are mindful 24 hours a day. It's in the Vinaya books. It's stated you cannot fault an Arahant at all because he's mindful all the time. 23. Gosala. Having eaten honey and rice in Velu Gumba, skillfully comprehending the arising and passing away of the elements of existence, I shall return to my hillside, devoting myself to seclusion. So these monks, they have to come down to the village to beg for their food. And after they get their food, they go out of the village or the town. And then they go to a quiet place and they eat their food. And then after that, then if they are living up the hill, normally they will eat their food first because walking up the hill is very tiring. Many years ago, I stayed in a hill a distance from Balik Pulau. So I walked down and walked up. It took me 3 hours. And on an empty stomach, it was very tiring. So halfway up, I'll be eating. No energy already. But eating means you take the sweet things like banana and all these fruits, just to give you quick energy. 24. Sugandha. I went forth after keeping one rainy season. See the essential rightness of the Dhamma. The 3 knowledges have been obtained. The Buddha's teaching has been done. He said he went forth after keeping one rainy season. Possibly he was a Samanera or a layman staying in the monastery. One Vasala. And after that he ordained. And then after that he practiced hard and he attained the 3 knowledges. 25. Nandya. Attacking such a monk whose mind is like splendor, constantly fruitful, you will come to grieve, Kanha. Kanha is the black one, probably referring to Mara. 26. Abhaya. Hearing the well-spoken utterance of the Buddha, the kinsman of the sun, Angira Sasa, appears a subtle thing indeed, as one pierces the tip of a hair with an arrow. So after he heard the Buddha's teaching, then he probably attained enlightenment. 27. Lomasa Kangya. With my chest I thrust aside daba grass and kusa grass and potakila grass and usira and munja grass and bulrushes, devoting myself to seclusion. So this monk, to go to his secluded place, he has to pass through all these tall grasses. 28. Jambu Gamika San. Are you not intent on clothes? Do you not delight in adornments? Do you, not other folk, send forth this odor of virtue? This one I'm not sure what he's, or who he's talking to. 29. Harita. Making the self erect, making your mind straight as an arrow maker makes an arrow straight. Break ignorance to pieces, Harita. So here is probably encouraging himself, talking to himself to get encouragement. 30. Uttiya. When illness arose in me, mindfulness arose in me. Illness has arisen in me. It is time for me to be vigilant. So illness is like a deva messenger, telling you, reminding you of impermanence. So there's a time to practice more. 31. Gavaratiriya. Tormented by gnats and mosquitoes in the forest, in the great wood, like an elephant in the van of the battle, one should endure there mindful. So you see, if they don't have a kuti like we have with mosquito netting and all that, then all the gnats and mosquitoes will come and disturb them. Not so easy to practice. Sometimes, like in one sutta, we saw the Buddha was sitting with a robe covered over the whole head, the whole body. 32. Supya. I shall exchange the aging for agelessness, the burning for quenching, for the highest peace, for unsurpassed rest from exertion. So, he's saying the aging, when you have a self, you have the self-aging. But when you have no self, then there's no aging. And the burning is the burning of the passions. And when a person becomes liberated, he has quenched the passions, no more passions disturbing. And that's the highest peace. 33. Sopaka. Just as a woman would be good towards her beloved only son, so one should be good to all living creatures everywhere. When a person becomes an Arya, then he realizes all beings are like us. So it's metta towards all beings. 34. Posya. These women are always best when not approached by one who knows. Coming from the village to the forest, from there I entered the house. Rising up from there, I, who deserve to be fed, Posya, went out without having taken my leave. Women are always best when not approached by one who knows. Not so sure about this. After he took his meal, then he just left. Some of them, they don't like to talk. 35. Samanya Kani. Practicing this, he who seeks happiness gains happiness and obtains glory. His fame increases who develops the noble eightfold path, straight, direct path for the attainment of the undying. 36. Kumaputta. Hearing is good, action is good, the homeless life is always good. The questioning of the goal, doing what is skillful, this is the ascetic state for one who has nothing. This questioning of the goal, probably investigating, so that you can aim well. 37. Kumaputta's companion. They go to different countries, wandering unrestrained. If they lose concentration, what good will this bad conduct do? Therefore, one should dispel pride. One should meditate undistracted. Instead of wandering here and there, it's best to stay in one place and fight. The fight with Mara is inside. It's not to do with outside. 38. Gavampati. That Gavampati, who by his supernormal power made the river Sarabu stand fast, is unfettered and unmoved. The Devas revere that great sage, who has surpassed all attachments and reached the far shore of existence. So this Gavampati, his supernormal power is very great. He can make the river stop flowing. Tisa, 39. A monk should wander about as though smitten by the sword, with his head on fire, as it were, mindful of the abandonment of desire for sensual pleasures. So if a monk has not attained enlightenment, he should remember that because of impermanence, he always think the head is on fire, anytime can die. So practice hard to abandon desire or craving. Number 40. Vadamana. A monk should wander about as though smitten by the sword, with his head on fire, as it were, mindful of the abandonment of desire for existence. The person understands the Dhamma only, he can abandon this desire for life. 41. Sirivada. The flashes of lightning fall upon the cleft of Vihara and Pandava, but gone to the cleft in the mountain, the son of the incomparable Venerable One meditates. So this lightning is flashing all over the hills, but this monk, he goes into this cleft or this cave in the mountain to meditate. 42. Kadira Vanya. Chala, Upachala, Sisu Pachala, now indeed remain mindful. One has come to you like a hair piercer. So these three also have attained enlightenment. 43. Sumangala. Well rid, very well rid am I of the three crooked things. Well rid are the sickles of me. Well rid are the ploughs of me. Well rid are the curved spades of me. Even if they are here, even so, enough of them, enough. Meditate Sumangala, meditate Sumangala. Remain vigilant Sumangala. So this Sumangala, he has become a monk. Probably he was formerly a farmer. So his sickles, his plows and his spades all he's abandoned, and he's reminding himself to practice hard, to meditate. 44. Sanu. Mother, they weep for one who is dead, or for one who, although alive, is not seen. Why, mother, do you weep for me, who am both alive and seen? This one, there's this sutta, probably in the Samyutta Nikaya, where this Sanu, after becoming a monk, he thought of disrobing. And then it seems a Yaka, who was his previous life mother, entered him. And he became delirious and out of control of himself. So when the mother saw that he was possessed, the mother was weeping, cried. And then he woke up and he saw the mother crying. And then he asked the mother, why are you crying here? 45. Brahmanya Viharin. Just as a noble thoroughbred, having stumbled, stands firm again, so should you consider me as one possessed of insight, a disciple of the fully enlightened one, the Buddha's own thoroughbred son. So he's saying he's become enlightened. 46. Samidhi. In faith I went forth from the home to the homeless state. My mindfulness and wisdom have increased. My mind is well concentrated. Make shapes as you please, you will not frighten me. So probably Mara come to frighten him, making all kinds of different forms. But he says, You will not be frightened. 47. Ujjaya. Homage to you, enlightened hero. You are completely released in every respect, living in the field of your achievement. I live without asavas, without uncontrolled mental outflows. 48. Sanjaya. Since I went forth from the home to the homeless state, I have not been aware of having any ignoble, hate-ridden intentions. 49. Ramanyayaka. Amidst the sound of chirping and the cries of the birds, this mind of mine does not waver, for devotion to solitude is mine. He enjoys his solitude. And being in the forest, he can hear the sound of a lot of birds. 50. Vimala. The earth is sprinkled, the wind blows, lightning flashes in the sky. My thoughts are quietened. My mind is well concentrated. So his mind is concentrated. He has no disturbing thoughts. 51. Khuddaka. The sky rains melodiously. My small hut is roofed, pleasant, draft-free, and my mind is well concentrated. So rain sky if you wish. 52. Subahu. The sky rains melodiously. My small hut is roofed, pleasant, draft-free, and my mind is well concentrated on my body. So rain sky if you wish. 53. Valya. The sky rains melodiously. My small hut is roofed, pleasant, draft-free. I live in it vigilant. So rain sky if you wish. 54. Uttiya. The sky rains melodiously. My small hut is roofed, pleasant, draft-free. I live in it without companion. So rain sky if you wish. 55. Anjana Vanya. Making a small hut, plunging into the Anjana forest, I dwelt there. The three knowledges have been obtained. The Buddha's teaching has been done. 56. Kuti Viharin. Who is in the small hut? A monk is in the small hut, with desire gone, with well-concentrated mind. Thus know, friend, your small hut was not made in vain. So this friend was probably somebody who made the hut for him. He's telling him that he should have a lot of blessings of making this hut, and he can attain a concentrated mind. 57. Kuti Viharin. This was your old hut. You desire another new hut. Discard the hope of a hut. A new hut will be painful again, monk. 58. Ramanya Khuddaka. My small hut is pleasant, a gift of faith, delightful. I have no need of girls. Go there, women, to those who have need. Maybe some women came to him in the hut. 59. Kosala Viharin. In faith I went forth. I made a small hut in the forest, and I am vigilant, zealous, attentive, mindful. 60. Sivali. My intentions, which I had as my goal when I entered the hut, have prospered. Abandoning the propensity to pride, I shall come to the knowledges and to release. 61. Vappa. The seeing one sees the seeing one, and sees the non-seeing one too. The non-seeing one does not see the non-seeing one, nor the seeing one. In the suttas, the Buddha said, a wise man can judge a fool, and a wise man can also judge another wise man. But a fool cannot judge a fool, and a fool also cannot judge a wise man. So this is probably what it means here. 62. Vajiputta. We dwell alone in the forest like a tree rejected in a wood. Many envy me as hell dwellers envy one going to heaven. 63. Bhakka. Passed away they fall. Fallen and being greedy, they have come again. What was to be done is done. What was to be enjoyed is enjoyed. Happiness has been attained by happiness. Happiness has been attained by the happiness of jhana. 63. Vimala Kondanya. I was born of the tree named One, begotten by the bright bannered One. The banner killer has destroyed the bearer of the great banner by means of the banner. So I'm not so sure of what. 65. Uke Pakata Vacha. Well poised, full of noble joy, he preaches to householders that which has been collected by heap-made vacha over many years. This heap-made probably refers to the robe. Some monks, they pick the cloth from the heap of rubbish to make their robe. 66. Megya. The great hero, having reached the far shore of all phenomena, counseled me. Hearing his Dhamma, I dwelt in his presence, mindful. The three knowledges have been obtained. The Buddha's teaching has been done. 67. Eka Dhamma Savaniya. My defilements have been burnt up. All existences have been rooted out. Journeying on from rebirth to rebirth is completely annihilated. There is now no more existence. So you see the Arahants, when they finish their work, they know there is no more existence for them. Their consciousness will never take rebirth again. But the Mahayana books say differently. 68. Ekuddaniya. For a sage who is attentive, vigilant, training himself in the paths of sagehood, venerable, calm, always possessed of mindfulness, griefs do not come into existence. 69. Chana. Hearing the great flavored Dhamma of the Great One, taught by him who is of supreme knowledge and omniscience, I entered on the road for the attainment of the undying. He is well skilled in the path to rest from exertion. So after one hears the Dhamma, one understands, then only one practices. 70. Punna. Virtue indeed is foremost here, but the wise man is supreme, conquering among men and devas because of his virtue and wisdom. Virtue and wisdom both are important. 71. Vachapala. Quenching is truly not hard to obtain for him who sees the goal, even though it is very fine and subtle, who is skilled in thought, of humble manner, practicing the virtuous conduct cultivated by the Buddha. Although he says it's not hard, but for most people it's really hard. 72. Atuma. Just as a young bamboo is hard to trample down when its tip has grown, and it has developed hard wood, so I find it hard to go forth because of the wife who has been brought home. Give me permission, now I have gone forth. So you see this man with the wife, newly married, also can go forth. 73. Manava. Having seen an old man and a miserable diseased one, a dead one, and having seen a dead one come to the end of his life, then having gone forth, this diseased one must be a very sick person. And then thirdly, having seen a dead one come to the end of his life, then having gone forth, I became a wanderer, abandoning mind-beguiling sensual pleasures. Sensual pleasures really delight the mind. That's why it's so hard to give up. But this person, he saw impermanence. So an old man, a very sick man, and a dead man. But not all together over some time. 74. Suyamana. Desire for sensual pleasures, malevolence, sloth and torpor, conceit and uncertainty or doubt are in no way found in a monk. That means a real monk. He has got rid of all these 5 hindrances. 75. But this getting rid of the 5 hindrances means attaining jhana. 75. Susarada. Good is the sight of the well-disposed. Doubt is cut off. Discretion increases. They make even a fool into a clever man. Therefore, union with good men is good. This good man refers to the Aryans. Aryans can make a fool into a clever man when they explain the Dhamma. 76. Piyan Jaha. One should settle down when others are flying up. One should fly up when others are settling down. One should remain when others are not remaining. One should not take pleasure when others take pleasure. A person who walks a spiritual path is on the opposite direction from people who are worldly. 77. Hatta Roha Putta. Formerly this mind wandered where it wished, where it liked, as it pleased. Now I shall control it properly, as the hook holder or the Mahut controls an elephant in rut. The elephant trainer, even when the elephant is very difficult to control during the mating season, the trainer with the skill can control it. In the same way, it takes a lot of skill to control the mind. 78. Menda Sira. I have run through the journeying on of numerous rebirths without expiation. I have suffered pain, but now my mass of pain has disappeared. So he has attained liberation. 79. I have eliminated Rakita. I have eliminated all desire. All hatred has been rooted out. All my delusion has gone. I have become cold, quenched. This cooled is the state of Nibbana. 80. Uga. Whatever action was done by me, whether small or great, all that is completely annihilated. There is now no renewed existence. You see, all these arahants, they always say, there's no more renewed existence, no more coming to birth again. 81. Samiti Gutta. Whatever evil was done by me previously in other births, that must now be experienced. No other basic cause exists. Karma has to be experienced. 82. Kasapa. Go there, child, wherever there are good alms, pleasant and without fear. Do not be smitten by grief. This one maybe is talking to a small boy. 83. Siha. Siha, remain vigilant, not relaxing day or night. Develop good characteristics. Quickly give up the body. This Siha is a monk who's struggling, so he's reminding himself not to relax, remain vigilant. This is one of the factors of charana, monk's practice. Jagarya no yoga, devotion to wakefulness, trying to remain awake even at night. 84. Nita. Sleeping all night, delighting in company by day. When indeed will the fool put an end to pain? So to the arahants, ordinary worldling who sleeps all night and loves to associate with company during the daytime is a fool that will never end samsara. 85. Sunaga. One who is well skilled in grasping mental images, knowing the sweetness of solitude, meditating, zealous, mindful, should attain to spiritual happiness. 86. Nagita. Outside this teaching, the road of the many who profess another doctrine does not lead to quenching as this one does. So indeed, the blessed teacher instructs the Sangha himself, truly showing the palms of his hands. Showing the palms of his hands, that means open up his hands, reveals everything. The Buddha always says that he doesn't hide anything. He has revealed everything to his disciples. In the Digha Nikaya Mahaparinibbana Sutta, the Buddha says he does not have the clenched fist of a teacher. Clenched fist of a teacher means holding back something, just like those kung fu masters in China. They teach you 90%, they hold back 10%. So the Buddha says he does not hold back anything. Open up his hands totally. 87. Pavita. The elements of existence are seen as they are. All existences are torn asunder. journeying on from rebirth to rebirth, is completely annihilated. There is now no renewed existence. Another one says, no more coming back. 88. Arjuna. Truly I was able to draw myself from the water to dry land. As if being borne along on a great flood, I comprehended the truths. So he went from the flood to dry land. That refers to the Arahant standing on safe dry land. 89. Deva Sabha. The muds and the mayas are crossed. The chasms are avoided. I am released from flood and tide. All conceits are exterminated. This conceit is the ego, the self. It's eliminated, so it's attained liberation. 90. Samidatta. The 5 elements of existence, being known, stand with root cut off. Journeying on from rebirth to rebirth is completely annihilated. There is now no renewed existence. These 5 elements should be the 5 aggregates of existence. So they stand, but the root is cut off already. They will not grow again. These 5 body, feeling, perception, volition and consciousness, which is basically body and mind. So the body and mind, the root has been cut off already. It will not grow again. 91. Paripunaka. Pure food with 100 flavors is not so well thought of as is that which I enjoy today. The Dhamma taught by Gotama the Buddha, whose vision is unlimited. So a person who appreciates the Dhamma, when he listens to the Dhamma, he's so happy. The flavor of the Dhamma is much better than pure food with 100 flavors. 92. Vijaya. He whose asavas are completely annihilated and who is not interested in food, whose field of action is empty and signless release. His track is hard to find, like that of birds in the air. An Arahant has no more self, so you cannot trace him when he goes off into Nibbana. No trace of him at all. 93. Eraka. Painful are sensual pleasures, Eraka. Not happy are sensual pleasures, Eraka. He who loves sensual pleasures loves pain, Eraka. He who does not love sensual pleasures does not love pain, Eraka. So this Eraka, he must be practicing, he must be tormented by all the sensual thoughts disturbing him. So he's reminding himself, all these are source of suffering. Don't let go, don't cling to it, don't think of it. 94. Mataji. Homage to the blessed, glorious member of the Sakyan clan. He taught well this foremost Dhamma when he had attained to the foremost state. 95. Chakupala. I am blind, with eyes destroyed. I have entered this wilderness road. Even though I am prostrate, I shall go on, but not with an evil companion. So this monk, there's a story, I think, in the Dhammapada commentary. This monk, he practiced very hard without sleeping. And when we sleep, we relax, and in the sleeping position, our eyes, the tears can flow and clean our eyes. But if a monk stays up in the upright position, he does not rest, the tears don't flow to clean the eyes. And in the case of this monk, after a long time, he became blind. But even then, he said he will still push on, but he will not he will not want a companion who is not like him. 96. Kanda Sumana. Having left one flower as an offering, having amused myself in different heavens for 80 crores of years, because of the remainder I am quenched. So he was in the heavens for a very, very long time, but now he's out of samsara. 97. Tisa. Giving up a costly bronze bowl and a valuable golden one, I took an earthenware bowl. This is my second consecration or ordination. So this man must have probably come from a very rich family. And then this second consecration could be he attained Arahanthood. The first one, the first consecration or blessing is when he ordained. The second one probably when he attained enlightenment. 98. Abhaya. The mindfulness of one who thinks upon a pleasant object becomes confused when he sees its form. With impassioned mind he experiences it and stays clinging to it. His asavas which lead to the root of existence increase. So if a person is not mindful, I think of pleasant things, then the asavas, the uncontrolled mental outflows increase, and then he cannot get out of samsara. 99. Uttiya. The mindfulness of one who thinks upon a pleasant object becomes confused when he hears its sound. With impassioned mind he experiences it and stays clinging to it. His asavas which lead to journeying on increase. So this one, the first one was talking about for seeing a form attached to forms. The second one is attached to sounds. 100. Deva Sabha. Possessed of proper exertion, having the application of mindfulness as his field of action, covered with the flowers of release, he will be quenched without asavas. Need a lot of exertion to attain, a lot of exertion and a lot of mindfulness to attain liberation. 101. Belatta Kani. Giving up the householder state, having no firm convictions in his mind, like a great hawk fed on grain, using its snout as a plough, gluttonous, inactive, the fool comes to the womb again and again. So he is saying if a person becomes a monk but has no strong determination and is greedy for good food and lazy and all that, he'll take rebirth again and again. 102. Satucha. Deceived by conceit, being defiled by the constituent elements, agitated by their various gains, they do not attain concentration. Person cannot give up the self, the ego, and defiled by the five aggregates. Cannot attain one-pointedness of mind. 103. Bandura. I have no need of this. I am gladdened and delighted by the flavor of the Dhamma, having drunk the best, the topmost flavor, but I shall not make acquaintance with poison. So the flavor of the Dhamma surpasses all other flavors. 104. Khuddaka. Truly my body is light, touched by much joy and happiness. My body floats as it were, like cotton blown by the wind. There's one sutta where the Venerable Ananda asked the Buddha, is it true, Bhagava, that this flesh body can fly up to heaven? And the Buddha said yes. The Buddha said, when a monk meditates, attains deep concentration, the mind becomes very strong and the body becomes very light. Then when he determines that he will fly, he will just lift up, the whole body will lift off the ground, and then he can fly as high as the Brahma heavens. 105. Malita Vamba. If one is dissatisfied, one should not remain. If one is enjoying oneself, one should depart. Truly, a discerning man would not inhabit a dwelling which was not connected with the goal. So if a monk stays in a place and it's not a suitable place, he's dissatisfied. And then, or if the place, there's too much things to enjoy, then he should leave the place. 106. Suhemanta. When the goal has 100 marks and bears 100 signs, the person who sees but one part is a fool, but he who sees 100 is clever. So a person, he must be very discerning, very sharp, and see how to practice the way. 107. Dhammasava. After reflection, I went forth from the home to the homeless state. The three knowledges have been obtained. The Buddha's teaching has been done. There are many arahants, we see from the suttas, many arahants who were formerly married, had a family, had children and all that, and then they left, and still they can attain arahanthood. This one is the best, is classic, Dhammasava's father, 108. At the age of 120, I went forth to the homeless state. The three knowledges have been obtained. The Buddha's teaching has been done. So this man, even at the age of 120, he renounced and can still attain arahanthood. So those of you here who are married, you still have a chance. 109. Sangha Rakita. Having gone to a secret place, he does not yet take account of the teaching of the one who has compassion for the highest good, for he lives with uncontrolled faculties like a tender deer in the forest. 110. Usaba. The trees on the mountain tops have shot up, well watered by the fresh rain cloud on high. More and more it produces excellence for Usaba, who desires solitude and possesses forest sentiment. This is another of the monks who were very happy had dwelling in the forest. 111. Jenta. Truly it is hard to go forth. Homes are hard to live in. The Dhamma is profound. Wealth is hard to obtain. Sustenance of life is difficult for us with whatever comes our way. It is fitting to think continuously of impermanence. 112. Vachagota. I possess the triple knowledge. I am a great meditator, skilled in the calming of the mind. I have obtained the true goal. The Buddha's teaching has been done. 113. Vana Vacha. With clear water and wide cracks, haunted by monkeys and deer, covered with oozing moss, those rocks delight me. 114. Adimutta. Whence will perfection as an ascetic come for one who is heavy with grossness of body and greedy for bodily happiness while life is fading away? So if an ascetic is too fat, heavy with grossness of body and greedy for bodily happiness, greedy for bodily pleasures, then he will never come to perfection. 115. Mahanama. You are found wanting by the mountain with its many shrubs and trees, the famous Mount Nesadaka with its covering. 116. Parapariya. Giving up the 6 organs of contact, with sense doors guarded, well restrained, having rejected the root of misery, I have attained the annihilation of the asavas. 117. Yasa. Well anointed, well dressed, adorned with all my ornaments, I attain the 3 knowledges. The Buddha's teaching has been done. This is well anointed, well dressed, adorned with the ornaments. It probably does not refer to the clothes and all that, but his ornaments probably refers to his the 4 satipatthana, the 4 right efforts, the 4 iddhipada, the 5 bala, 5 powers, 7 bojjhanga, etc. 118. Imbila. Old age falls upon one as though ordered. The shape, although the same, is as though different. I remember my own self as though of another, although I am the same, not having been away. As we age, we look different. 119. Vajjiputta. Having approached a thicket at the foot of a tree, having put quenching in the heart, meditate, Gotama, do not be indolent. What good will all this halabalu do you? This one, I think, when he says Gotama, he means he's a son of Gotama, Sakyaputta. This one, I think, is this monk. He's in the forest, trying hard to meditate. And then the village there, there's a celebration in the village, maybe Hari Raya or something. And they are making all the music and all the enticing sounds disturbing him. So he's reminding himself not to be pulled away by all the nice music, but to meditate hard. It's very distracting, if you are trying to meditate in a cave or in the forest, and all these sounds in the distance, reminding you of your days when you were also jolly. 120, Isiddhatha. The 5 elements of existence, being known, stand with root cut off, have obtained the annihilation of pain, have attained the annihilation of the asavas. These 5 elements of existence refers to the 5 aggregates, body, feeling, perception, volition and consciousness. They still stand, but the root has been cut off. Shall we stop here? We can, for the sutta, then we can have a discussion. But Ananda, because he listened to the Dhamma, he was already a Sotapanna. So, you see, some monks, because they have a lot of duties to do, so they delay their attainment of arahanthood. In the case of Ananda, it was difficult for him to practice because he was serving the Buddha for so long, always ready to serve the Buddha. So the Buddha appreciated him very much. So when the Buddha was about to pass away, he went one side and wept. And the Buddha called him, and then in front of all the Sangha, the Buddha praised him. But still, because of his good merit, after the Buddha passed away, he practiced. In a short time, he became an arahant. So this meritorious, this good deeds, like what Ananda did, is very helpful. Very helpful. If a monk does things like this, serving the preceptor, helping the monastery, do all the monastery work and all that, then later when he practices, the memory of all of what he has done will give him a lot of happiness. And the Buddha says the condition for attaining of concentration is a happy mind. The mind got to be happy. But if a person is very selfish, only wants to strive for enlightenment and refuse to do this and refuse to do that, it doesn't have that happiness inside. It's difficult.
But this is the condition for meditation is sila and right view. This right view, what's the right view? Is it the worldly right view, Aryan right view?
No, Aryan right view. Aryan right view refers to the understanding of the Dhamma, basically the 4 noble truths. When you understand the Dhamma, the Buddha says, when you attain right view, Aryan right view, you are already an Arya. First path attained.
Can you please share the Bala and the Isiddhatha? The Bala is similar to the 5 Indriya.
Yeah, the Bala and the 5 Indriya are the same.
And how about the Isiddhatha?
The what?
This one I heard something mentioned the words about something.
Iddhipada. Iddhipada is the basis of psychic power. If you practice this, you perfect this Iddhipada, you will get psychic power. And all this is explained in great detail in the Samyutta Nikaya talks. You go and listen to the Samyutta Nikaya talks.
Last question from me. To confirm Ananda's attainment, enlightenment, is he achieved that through by reason or by samadhi?
In the sutras, the Buddha says basically that to attain anagamin, 3rd fruition, and arahanthood, 4th fruition, you must have at least the 4 jhanas. Then after you have the 4 jhanas, then you contemplate on the Dhamma, then only you can attain enlightenment. Because in the suttas, the Buddha says there are 5 occasions when a person becomes an arahant. One is when he listens to the Dhamma. Second, when he is teaching the Dhamma. Third, when he's repeating the Dhamma, because during the Buddha's time there were no books, so they had to repeat. When they repeat, they understand. It's just like us reading the suttas. So when they repeat the Dhamma many times, then they understand more, and then one day it clicks and they become enlightened. The 4th one is when they reflect on the Dhamma that they have heard. They think about it, contemplate it, and then they understand more, and they become enlightened. And then the 5th one is during meditation. So you see, out of these 5 occasions, a person becomes an arahant. 4 of them have to do with the Dhamma. That's why I always say knowledge of the Dhamma is extremely important. And then although these 5 occasions are stated in the suttas to be 5 occasions for attaining liberation or arahanthood, it is probable that also for attaining partial liberation, Sotapanna, Sakadagamin and Anagamin also the same conditions.
I wish to ask whether those verses found in Theragatha, the verses spoke by the Arahant monks and nuns upon just attaining arahanthood, so as to fall the Buddha idea of reality that they have attained arahanthood, or these are the verses spoken by the Arahants after they have informed the Buddha that they have attained arahanthood.
These verses are spoken by the Arahant monks and nuns at various times, before enlightenment, during enlightenment and after enlightenment. So you see, like some of them, they are reminding themselves to practice hard. Later you see that some of them, like in the verse 127, my hut was made of 3 palm leaves on the bank of the Ganges. My bowl was only a funeral pot. My robe a rag from the dust heap. So you see, they practice, the conditions were not so ideal. They had a lot of suffering. But sometimes in those circumstances, it's also good. Nowadays, we have too much comfort. When you have too much comfort, then you become lazy. When you have suffering, in fact, suffering is a very, very good teacher. Only when we have suffering, then we have the incentive to practice. If there's no suffering, we will not want to practice. That's why Devas and Devis in heaven, they don't want to practice. Life is too good. They don't see suffering. This monk, he says, his hut was made of 3 palm leaves. Just imagine, you put 3 palm leaves, like a A shape, and you go and hide inside there and you try to meditate. During the daytime, it's extremely hot. And during the night, when the wind blows, you're shivering. And his pot, he had to go to the cemetery there, look for this pot people left behind. Now we have stainless steel bowls. Look at the foot of the so really beautiful looking. Yeah, there were 2 types of bowls during the Buddha's time: clay bowls and iron bowls. The iron bowls can rust one, not like our stainless steel. And sometimes got hole because of the rust, got hole. And the Buddha says you must have 5 holes before you can change your. And then can change. And so these clay bowls, most of them are not potters. How can they make the bowl? They don't make the bowl themselves, lah. So either they get somebody to sponsor a bowl, or they have to look for a bowl, lah. In the case of this poor fellow, he went to the cemetery, found an old bowl somebody threw away, they had to use it. Yeah. Okay, shall we end here?